Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Style Speaks. My name is Ronald Bird. I have a fantastic gentleman here that I want to introduce you to. He's got a plethora of titles, and we're going to maybe let him recite them all. I don't know if I should recite them all, but his name is MarlonRuss. Marlon, thank you for being here today.
It's a pleasure. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Doing well, sir.
Trying to enjoy this cats and dog weather, man.
I know we got like Hurricane Andrea or Tropical Storm. I know the name is Andrea, but I'm not sure if it's considered a tropical storm or. But I've been wet like all day. But we're gonna do this because this is what we do.
Exactly.
But Mr. Russ, like I said, has many titles, and I'm gonna let him talk to them. But I want to run them off.
Go ahead, run them off.
And then you tell me if you want to add on or you want to, take some off.
I'll pick it back off.
We have actor, director, producer, writer. He didn't have this on there, but I know he's a dancer. So I just call him an all-around entertainer. Okay, so he's not like a triple threat or quadruple threat, whatever the five, single, whatever it is. He's got a lot going on. How you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm making it happen, making things, letting it take its course and letting God move in the right direction.
Well, wonderful. Well, he's definitely moving you in the right direction with all these titles you got going. You got to make some time for all these things, and we're going to get into that in a minute. So tell us, Marlon, where are you from?
I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised in Northeast, Southeast, and you may as well say I'm a DMV baby. I'm a DMV baby.
Okay, he's a DMV baby. Have you ever lived any place other than Washington, D.C.?
I lived overseas for a couple of years on tour. I was touring Romania, Hungary, Bulgaria, places like that, and also lived in South Carolina, for a while, Florida. But I spent 8 years in California working as a professional actor, doing different films and stage productions.
Okay, great. Well, you've definitely done some traveling and been around the block a time or two. We're not going to pull all your business out there. But how long have you been back in the D.C. metropolitan area?
I've been back in D.C. for about almost 2 years now.
Okay.
And it's been great. So far, it's good being back home. Ain't no place like home,
Well, definitely. I'm a native Washingtonian myself, so I can definitely attest to that. So we're talking about D.C., and let's talk about style and fashion. I like the way you look today.
Well, thank you.
Nice little black suit with the black tie, the little tie pin. I saw you from across the street with the hot pink shirt on, but I can't talk because he gave me, you got the yellow shirt on.
You got to keep it bright.
So, right, with a gloomy day like this. We had the same thing. Well, how it relates to style and fashion in the Washington metropolitan area, Marlon, I wanted to ask you, what do you see in your travels? And we're going to talk more professional now, and then we'll get into like your personal look and what you see on the streets of DC. But in your professional career as an actor, entertainer, how do you deem DC as being a fashionable place to be?
Well, I see that DC has come a long way. A lot of people, back in the day when I was growing up, it was just baggy jeans, baggy shirt, big cartoon shirts on Tiny Toons.
You're talking after 85,
exactly,
80s.
Late 80s, early 90s.
He's a youngster.
I'm a youngster, right? So those are the things I grew up with.
Right.
Of course, everything was in fashion, as far as having Jordans. You had to have the latest Jordans. You couldn't go out the house unless you had your fresh Jordans on. They had to be fresh. They had to be the newest. Or they couldn't be last season, and you'd be joned on, and they're Friday.
That's pretty much still kind of sort of how it is, right?
Well, it's pretty much similar,
But that's not how you probably matured and grown since.
See, for me, my family, I grew up in a church family, and they really were about, keeping your pants on your waist, putting the belt on, having a suit and tie. You're going to church, make yourself presentable at all times. I wasn't brought up to be, in that. I guess that hood fashion, hip-hop fashion.
Okay.
Hip-hop fashion.
Okay.
So I was tailored suits, vests, ties, shirts, button-up shirts, put the shirt in your pants, and it better not be, wrinkled. Style in DC, for me, I feel that because it's so much diversity here in the nation's capital. You have certain fashions from New York that are in DC. Certain fashions from California. A lot of people doing the whole bright thing. The 90s thing is coming back in style. 80s is coming back in style. Hipsters, man. It's just DC is a melting pot of fashion and talent.
Okay. Well, I agree with you 100%. Well, how would you categorize your own? You stated the fact that you kind of, I don't know if you want to use, I hate to use the word, and I say this almost in every interview, the C word, the conservative word, but you have a nice suit with a nice bright shirt. But would you classify yourself as trendy, or are you up on the latest trends and fashions, or you just kind of stick to what works for you, or do you kind of follow fashion and style?
Of course, I have to follow fashion and style. Being in the entertainment business, you have to be, on top of your game. You can't come out with last year's stuff, but then, they were like, wait a minute, that was last year, man. We in this year. This is 2013.
So you're conscious of that?
I'm definitely very conscious of that. I also believe that I have my own style, my own agenda when it comes to my personality and the choice of clothing that I wear. I like to keep it simple, keep it professional, and also just keep it classy and stand out amongst the rest of the business world. Yes, I can say I'm part conservative, but I guess part bright. I don't know.
a little collaboration of both.
Okay, a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of conservative. It's I guess how I'm feeling that day. Okay. Black suit or gray suit, keep it plain, shirt, tie, keep it classy.
Okay, well, I think we call that eclectic. It's kind of like an eclectic style, and you definitely seem like you dress based on your moods and how you're feeling and where you're going. And it's good to know, a lot of partner horns around us, but it's good to know that you follow the trends and you kind of feel like you need to in your line of work to stay fashion forward, if you will. Because a lot of artists, though, tend to kind of embrace their own little eclectic look and try not to really follow the trends because they're an artist. And it's interesting to hear that some artists are really interested in that whole fashion forward kind of perception. And so based on what you've said to me today about DC being, taking styles from other major cities and all that, so you find that even in the eclectic ness of a lot of the people that are walking the streets, do you find that people fall short, or do they look good to you? Do you you try that again? On the whole, what's your view on that?
I believe to each his own.
Right.
If you feel like you put on your tie and you got your gear and you collab, you got to coordinate. You coordinate your clothes. John Witherspoon said it best. You got to coordinate. And if you ain't coordinated right, then you definitely will fall short. If you come out and you're very confident, and it's really, fashion is about confidence. You have to be confident in what you wear, who you are. Your style doesn't start from the outside. Your style starts from the inside.
Absolutely.
It starts from the inside, and and it's going to radiate through whatever you put on, whatever you wear. Man, you can have on some cargo pants or some some penny loafers, but you're gonna make it work because it's style, fashion is within.
You own that.
You gotta own that. You have to own it, and what you put on, on the outer layer and the outer temple, this radiates who you are, even more.
Well, that's great.
So I guess whenever people wear it, whatever they put on, they make it happen, make it do what it do. I don't judge.
Okay, and we're not asking you to judge. I guess I just kind of wanted what your perception. What do you think? Do you, and you probably pretty much answered it. What do you see DC as a whole? I guess I ask that question a lot of times in my interviews because everybody's answer is typically different and their perceptions are different as opposed to what they see. A lot of people are like, well, DC is up there with New York. And I'm like, oh, and the fact that some people think that we're actually in the same bracket as New York City. And some people are like, are you kidding me? No way. Can you even put DC and New York in the same sentence? So it's always interesting to me how people perceive it and their perceptions.
I honestly wouldn't say that. I'm honestly going to say no. I would not put DC as far as fashion, when it comes to fashion, in the same bracket as New York. I would say that we're up and coming to get to that level.
Okay.
Because when you say New York, you're talking about runway to high-end fashion.
Right.
Couture style. You're talking about Dolce & Gabbana, you're going into Sean John style. We are, like I said, we have incorporated other people's style, to fit our own. DC is about politics. And as you see here, you see a lot of people walking with business suits. You go to different areas, you can see people walking with suits, ties, and that's what it is. Now, when you come to your whole individual hip hop fashion or your whole different style of, things like that you see on, on the networks, on television, people, we try to incorporate that into DC, and I think it's fine, I want to stand out. I don't want to look like the regular African American male. The African American male that I take from my style, from the 1930s, Harlem Renaissance. I look at cats like W.E.B. Du Bois, Langston Hughes, County Cullen. I think of those cats.
We're getting a little history lesson in here today, y'all. Y'all better recognize.
Those cats revolutionized, the style for it. Especially, Duke Ellington. During those times, for me, it was really about presenting yourself as a man. Not with your pants hanging down.
He said it. This young man coming from that's really good stuff. Well, actually, let's talk about you and a lot of the things that you're doing. And we talked early in the top of the introduction. I kind of made a joke about all the many hats you wear and the titles that appear on your resume. Well, tell me a little bit about, and keep it kind of short and cute. Tell me a little bit about. Tell me a little bit about how you kind of started into the whole acting thing and how all the other things kind of developed from that, and then we're going to bring it on back home. Okay.
Well, first of all, I graduated from Duke Ellington School of the Arts in 2002, and from there, pretty much, that kind of formed my, my path, my journey into being an actor and performer.
How long have you been acting?
I've been acting since, I guess, 1998. That's when I started high school. Quite a little bit longer than that, but professionally, it's been that way since 1998, and I'm still going. I've done a few films, a few television shows. I worked with BET on a couple of movies, March to the Mercies, Odyssey. I feel that my career has been great as a performer. Like I said, I toured in Europe with a dance company. I've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to just continue to do what I love to do, continue to, pursue my passion. So I'm definitely grateful and honored to stand in the long line of other entertainers that come from DC that are still performing and working.
Well, tell me this, Marlon, I know personally that you're a very talented young man. But what does it take for somebody to kind of pursue, actually have the ability to put all these things on your resume and say that I have done this, I've experienced this? You've actually been a gentleman that has experienced his dream of performing. I can call you a performer, whether it's dancing, acting, producing, writing, and we're going to talk real briefly about what you're working on and the whole producing and writing in. But at what point did you recognize you had these talents? Were you just always this ball of fire and you were just like this everyman who did like everything and just challenged yourself a lot? How did that all kind of come into play?
I've always had energy. You couldn't tell me I didn't have no energy. Every time I came on stage, man, it's just,
You just showed out every time. It's like, okay, Marlon is not the star, but he's showing out anyway, right?
Man, you're gonna bring 110% of just go home. You're not gonna hit that stage and not bring your A game. You're gonna get on stage and you're gonna love it. And I love what I do. And I have a tremendous amount of energy and passion when it comes to diving into the gold or putting on my my hip hop shoes and cutting the rug, as they used to say back in the day. But I get down. I love to dance. I love to act. And I love singing sometimes. When nobody's listening. So.
I don't think there's anything this man can't do, but I'll probably find one thing. But anyway, we're gonna keep this a family show. But
I ain't gonna say I'm a singer.
Okay.
But I definitely.
But you probably get out there, get on stage, and do something.
I do something. Give me a karaoke. It's on. Give me with some James Brown. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely gonna go get down.
I can so see that you doing a little
I'm
funky
definitely gonna do a little funky shaking.
Okay.
Hey,
all right. Bring it back. I don't have no music before you do no dance.
My music's in my head, man. It's all in my head. I hear music every time I walk, man. Everywhere I go, I hear music.
Well, tell me, Marlon, as we were talking about the whole producing thing, I think you have some things that you're working on.
Yeah.
And why don't we talk a little bit about what you have in the works and how people can find you?
Great. So, I just recently finished filming a movie. It's called Mommy Loves You.
Tell them again.
It's called Mommy Loves You. It's an awesome short film. The premiere will be in July. It's basically about a homeless woman who's been living on the streets, been dealing with drugs and just homelessness, trying to fight her way out of homelessness and poverty to be reunited with her loved ones. She has a strained relationship with her sister. They've been going through some things, and she wants to get her life together. And basically, this film really dives into the perspective and the lives of homeless people. We don't know what they're really going through. We all see them coming to us asking for change, but what was their life before they became down and out? We need to know that. We need to know that. We need to recognize that they are just like us, and they're not just bums. They're human beings.
Okay, and your production is definitely recognizing that.
I directed, I wrote the film, and produced it along with Isam Bilal, who's a very talented songstress. She's amazing. You can find her on Facebook, Isam Bilal. You can also find myself on Facebook, MarlonRuss. That's MarlonRuss. And if you want to like the page, Mommy Loves You Movie, just go to Facebook.com/MommyLovesYouMovie. Okay? And yeah, that means that Mommy Loves You is going to be. We're actually we're going to be performing in the DC Black Theater Festival. I forgot to tell you that.
Okay.
We'll be in the DC Black Theater Festival this year. It's going to be on June the 26th at 7 p.m. Okay. It's going to be a great show. Okay. Come out. I want everybody to come out and come support this film and this play. We actually turned it into a one-woman show just for the sake of the theater festival, because they don't really allow movies and films to be screened there. But what I've done is I incorporated live performances and multimedia film into the production. So it's going to be a great night. Can't wait to see everybody. So come out and support me, right? And you can find all that information on Facebook and StyleSpeaks.
I'll definitely post it on my site. Yeah. Marlon, thank you so much for taking time out today in this rainy.
You can also find me.
You got some more.
I'm in a show at the Howard Theater coming June 15th. Okay, June 15th. It's called My Father's Keeper. It's actually written by Roosevelt Jackson, Roosevelt Entertainment. It's going down June 15th. Doors open up at 6 p.m. for dinner, and the show starts at 8 p.m. Come see your boy out there, MarlonRuss, at the Howard Theater. It's going to be an amazing night, guaranteed.
I think we got it all in. I'm going to charge him for that last little piece. I'm going to get mine. Thanks. Thanks again, Marlon.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And I think they got everything.
Yes,
and we're going to post on my site, your site, and all that. We're going to make sure everybody comes out and check it out. Thank you. This has been another edition of Style Speaks here with MarlonRuss. Have a great evening.
Have a good evening. All right, man.